Another workout in the books, chest day, bicep day, and I am feeling absolutely smoked. So I'm just gonna take a rest right here. And I was asked an interesting question about staying motivated this last weekend. And I thought it was an interesting question, about how, like the question was like, how do you stick with it? How do you keep going? And keep doing it, what you're doing. I was asked about like doing the workouts and sticking with the nutrition plan and just, being consistent and how do you stay motivated and doing all that. And, I'll be the first to say that, I am not always motivated to do this. I rarely feel motivated, to work out. I would say probably, 7 to 8 times out of 10, I don't feel like it. I really don't, even in all my years, training clients, like 25 years as a trainer and a coach. And, I've never been like a quote unquote fitness guy. What I love is the results that I get from it and how I feel after. So, I thought it was an interesting question. I kind of boiled it down to like 3 things, because I think that, and I know like a lot of people, just, they think that because they can't achieve their goals or they haven't achieved their goals, they're not losing weight or they've lost weight and gained it back, or they can't stick with their nutrition, or they can't stick with the workouts. It's on again, off again, and not really getting where they want to go. And a lot of times they think that it's because they need more motivation, right? They're like, I'm just not motivated, or I need more willpower. They think they don't want it badly enough, or that they're lazy, or that they're just, like a failure, right? And, I know I fell right into that. Myself, and I still will catch myself from time to time getting into that mindset. And I know, like for me, number one, the first thing was like I've learned that you cannot rely on motivation and willpower. You just cannot rely on those because they're it's fleeting, right? It's like it comes and it goes. And I'll say, like, when we think we're not motivated, I don't think that that's true. I think technically we're always motivated. We're just not always motivated to do the things that we need to achieve the goals that we have. Sometimes we're just, like for me, I'd say like 8 times out of 10, I'm not motivated to work out. I'm more motivated to sit on the couch and, watch TV. Or, do something that I enjoy, go and watch a movie or do something, I would much rather do that. So I would say, 8 times out of 10, I'm motivated, but I'm not motivated to do the things that I need to achieve my goals. So I have to rely on more than just motivation and willpower. I can't just will and force and try and, make myself do things. And I think that's where most of us kind of are. And, so instead of being kind of at the mercy of my motivation and willpower and having to wait until I feel motivated to do things, because I'll never do them, I'll never get where I want to go. So instead of doing that, it's like, I've had to think beyond just like goals. Goals are great, but I think of goals more as stepping stones toward the realization of the vision, like the ultimate kind of dream that I have. And so for me, it's been keeping my mind not focused so much on my goals, like, building strength, gaining muscle, getting lean, those are things that I want, don't get me wrong. But those are stepping stones to my vision. So my vision has to do with the kind of the grand dream, like the big dream. The reason why the goals are important. It's who I'm becoming in this process. Who do I most want to be? What is the type of person? What do I want to be able to do that I'm not doing now? How do I want to feel about myself? How do I see myself in my grand vision? And that is what I latch on to. So instead of thinking of goals, right, which are really more like when we don't achieve the goal or we're not there, it's easy to get in the mindset of it's not working, it's taking too long, it's too hard, I'll never get there, I can't do this. But when we think of a vision, you know, it's a process. It's like a path that we're on, you know, a road that we are traveling on, and it's a becoming, right? So there's no real pass or fail criteria. It's more just taking steps along the way. So for me, it's a much easier way to stay motivated when I'm focused on the vision rather than just the goals. Goals are important, but they're more stepping stones along the way to realizing my ultimate vision. So the second thing is really, it's just about execute, don't think. That is like the thing. So, you know, it's easy for me, like when I'm in the middle of a workout, especially on a freaking leg day, because I despise doing leg day, especially when my coach has me doing very high reps. And I haven't done high repetition leg work in like almost ever. So for me, that is like death, man. It hurts, it burns, I'm gasping for air, and I don't want to do it. So it's very easy for me to, you know, when I'm done with a set or I have more to go and I see like, oh my God, shit, this is only like one set and I've got like, you know, 10 more to do. It's easy to talk myself out of it. If I start thinking of all the reasons why I should stop, you know, I don't need to do this. Maybe it's better if I drop the reps and go up in weight. Like the inner saboteur, that narrative that goes on in our head, man, it is very crafty. It is very sneaky, and it can be very convincing at times and talk us down out of our goals and our dreams and our ambitions if we're not aware of it, because a lot of times it sounds like our own, really, like, you know, it sounds like it's coming from us. And I guess technically if we look at it, it is, but I won't get into that. That's far deeper than this video is going to go. But for now, it's just that part of ourselves, I will say, that acts as the inner saboteur that resists change, and that a lot of times, you know, it just opposes anything that's uncomfortable, because things that are uncomfortable feel unsafe. And anytime the brain feels unsafe, it seeks to avoid danger and to get to safety. So it will try to get you to eliminate and do things that get you out of what feels unsafe, even if the thing that feels unsafe is actually good for your health. And the thing that feels safe, like going and cracking open a box of cookies, is bad for your health. Brain's a funny thing. It will always seek safety. So I have to think about executing and not thinking about it. So it just means next set's up, boom. It's like clockwork. On it, go. Don't think, just go. Execute, execute, execute. That's that. And then the third thing to keep me motivated, and especially, you know, when times get tough, because life is not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. And, you know, if we just wait around until that family thing is done, or until that project at work is over with, or until, you know, we're in a better place, until life just kind of settles down, right? Until everything is lined up, we're never going to get where we want to go. It'll never happen, because rarely does that ever happen. And if and when it does, it doesn't stay that way. Life is always changing. It's always in flux. It is not stagnant. It moves, it changes, it shifts. And we have to be able to kind of go with it. We have to be able to go with it, right? So, you know, one of the most important things for me is just understanding that and controlling the narrative. Because again, the inner saboteur in here says, now's not the right time. You've got too much going on. It's like before I was doing this transformation, I remember I was sitting, you know, thinking about this for some time, for months, knowing I need to find somebody who can understand and deep dive into the digestive issues I have, because I have some real gut health issues going on that I can't figure out. And so I need somebody who really has some good expertise in that. And I thought, you know, I'm going to wait 9 months until the end of my master's program, and then I'll start. I mean, doesn't that just sound like what I said? Waiting for life to be perfect? When this master's program ends, then I'll be ready. And it wasn't until I grabbed control of that narrative in my head that kept saying, wait 9 months, wait 9 months. And I was like, the fuck do I need to wait 9 months for? Why can't I do it now? Like, I have to eat every day. So what's the difference? I'm still going to be eating. I'm just not going to be eating the same shit that I do. Or I'm going to be just eating something different than what I'm doing now. Either way, I got to eat. So why not start it now? And I'm already training. So I might train a little bit differently than what I'm doing now. But there's no reason I can't do it. That was the narrative in my head and me not controlling that narrative and seeing it from a different perspective. And once I gained that awareness and I thought about it that way, I shifted that perspective and I was like, right there, right then and there, I signed up, got my talk to the person I wanted, and I knew who I wanted to coach me. Talked to them and signed right up. And that was that. And ever since then, it's been green light, go. So controlling that narrative, because that narrative, man, it is insidious. It will talk you out of things and make you believe that the reasons are actually true. It feels like it. It's so believable, but, you know, it's not always the case. So, you know, and it's like, you know, the narrative that I talk about, I'm talking about that inner saboteurs is basically, it's being aware of the thoughts and the feelings and the emotional states we get in, our belief systems, our perspective, like the lens that we're looking at life through, and our expectations, because all of those are what drive and create our outcomes. And the crazy thing is that our outcomes reinforce all of those. So if we have thoughts and beliefs and a perspective and expectations and all of these that revolve around failure, then the outcome is we fail. We fail to achieve the things we want, and that reinforces beliefs and thoughts and perspectives revolving around failure. But the opposite is true. If we control that narrative, we become aware and we shift that narrative away from what does not serve us and toward a narrative that does serve us, toward beliefs that do serve us, towards shifting a perspective in a way that serves us and aligns us and helps us achieve the things that we want. We get the outcomes that we want. Now that reinforces success. So that's really it. Things that keep me motivated, even when I feel like quitting, are focusing on a vision, not just goals, executing and not thinking, and then controlling the narrative. That is it. There's no needing vision boards or repeating positive affirmations or reciting mantras or reading self-help books or writing down self-limiting beliefs or, you know, all of these things, which are great, but they don't work at the deep subconscious level. And the subconscious level is what drives almost all of our actions, behaviors, and outcomes. Until we deal with that, you know, all of the other stuff, it just takes a lot longer. It takes a lot more effort, a lot more work for it to work if it does. So that is how I stay motivated. And I hope that, you know, if you're struggling with motivation, consistency, clarity, self-sabotage, that this in some way helps you out. So take care, stay strong, keep moving forward, and don't ever, ever give up.